I just rebranded my signature program to be Brand Basecamp, and I'm going to share with you today all of the ways that I used AI to help with the process. First, let's talk about why I rebranded. The program was originally created in 2022 and was designed to help people DIY their website. What I realized quickly was that while my students needed help with building their website, they also needed help with the strategy and the copywriting parts of things before we even got into the site design and the technical aspects of it. I originally named the program the Website Launch Accelerator. This was one of those things where I saw a need and I filled it with my program and had to come up with a name really quickly. That's where Website Launch Accelerator came from. Over the last couple of years, the program has evolved. There's so much more included, and the name was a disservice to the people that I was trying to reach. It wasn't showing what was truly included, and I needed to fix that, which is where this rebrand started. Now, I love AI. I've created a few tools for myself that I and other small business owners can use to help with their marketing, with copywriting, with figuring out their brand strategy and their brand guidelines and messaging. So let's take a look at a few of the ways that I used AI throughout this process. I did use AI in a lot of steps throughout the process, but there was also a lot of just brainstorming and knowledge that had to happen to know how to use these tools. I talked with mentors and my audience along the way to make sure that I was on track and to get that human element and human input as well. This started with a brainstorming call within the Making Good Happen marketing membership with 𝗺𝗀𝗪 𝗪𝗀𝗀. I was sharing how this program is really building a website that is the backbone of your business, that main hub of your marketing content. And that word backbone really stuck out. But backbone just didn't really sound like a good name for this program. It sounded off-brand for me and out of my realm if I was a more like goth girly, but you can see here I am pink and yellow, I'm bright and colorful, classic, and so backbone just really wasn't a good fit. But I took that and ran with it to ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini to kind of find more words that were in that same realm. I asked for synonyms. I ran down some rabbit trails with those AI tools to help me brainstorm words that were similar. Here's a peek into that conversation with ChatGPT. I said, I need synonyms or words like backbone, and it gave me a list. Then I asked about hub, core, or center. Those words were coming to me naturally, and I just needed someone to talk my ideas out with, and I didn't have an actual person, so we went to ChatGPT. From here, it gave me the word base, and I said, I like that word, but what are more ways that word is often used? This list, it gave me the word base, and I liked the way that sounded, but had to really play with it and roll it over in my brain some more, talked more through it with ChatGPT, got some more ideas, and shared that I really liked Basecamp here. I was still exploring the concept here and just running through some more ideas to get what really felt good, played around with the words outside of ChatGPT, wrote things down, really just kept brainstorming with that. The idea of that Basecamp, though, really was sticking with me. I liked the idea of camp and that theme that could go with that, and so that is where I really leaned hard into. Here's another chat that I had with Gemini. I feel like I can get more natural language from Gemini than from ChatGPT. I use both tools just differently. This conversation, I was telling Gemini that I was renaming the program, telling AI about who my ideal client is, and sharing some of the ideas that I had for names so far. Gemini seems to give a more human feedback, so in this instance, it analyzed the choices that I had given and gave me some suggestions. I was still toying with the word backbone here, got some feedback on that, and it helped me really knock that out of the running. Then I came up with Brand Basecamp and got some feedback from that. I was happy with the feedback that I got, and I loved this tagline that came with it: craft your brand message and launch a website that sells. Then it was really time to start actually building that brand. The name had been chosen. In Gemini, I also have a chat that I created as a way to do market research and talk to my ideal client without having access to them directly. This chat started with a prompt detailing who I wanted the chat to take the persona of. I told it to use the language of that ideal client, and I interviewed this chat like I would a client for market research. I come back to this chat over and over again to get more feedback from what would be my ideal client and have that language learning model backing it up to help me write content to that person. So I did bring the names into this chat as well, got some more feedback from my ideal client, and rolled with it from there. I also asked in a chat about words that are associated with camping to help me kind of ideate how I could bring that imagery in and language to help people connect with what I was creating. Once I had some of those words and ideas for the visuals, I popped into Pinterest, got some inspiration, and headed back to ChatGPT for more help ideating. Here I had ChatGPT create some logo ideas for me. I find that 𝗪𝗏 is better at putting text into things than Midjourney, so this is where I went for image creation, and I just really got some good ideas to start playing with on my own. I was even able to upload my current brand kit, my color palette, and my fonts, and it was able to pull those and use them in the ideas that it created. With any AI tool, I highly recommend just keep iterating on things and seeing what you can come up with. Here I uploaded a pin that I had found that I liked to get some more ideas. There were concepts that it gave me that I asked it to expand on more. And then as I put together my own concepts, I asked for feedback on what I had created. This was one of the earlier versions of the logo. It's not what I ended up using. It felt too complicated. It wasn't really clear that this was a path for everyone. It didn't make sense to other people. And that's another place where AI can really help. We get so in our heads and we have our own ideas of what things might look like, and we keep creating and iterating on it ourselves, but without any feedback, we don't know how other people are perceiving things. So having ChatGPT or Gemini help analyze those ideas can pull you out of your own head and make you a better creator. This is another program that I used. I knew I wanted some icons, and this is called Recraft.ai. This tool helps you create vector images or icons. And for this, I knew I wanted some of those icons and imagery that I had chatted with AI about in my other chats. With this program, I was able to take some of my own drawings and ones that I had created in other AI tools and upload them as reference for this tool to create new icons with. Here you can see there are reference images that I added, and then I could just type in what I was looking for in that same style, and it would create that. I gave it this image of a tent and some lantern drawings, and then I asked for a vintage compass, and that's the design it came up with. These field guide ideas I used to market my free workshop, and this all stayed very on brand because I was also even able to upload my own color palette into this. You can see that I spent a lot of time creating and playing and coming up with concepts for the logo, and here's what I finally landed on. The idea of this flag, of this signal of here's where you come back to, is what really was sticking with me when I came up with the name of Brand Basecamp in the first place. And so I love that I was able to incorporate that into the logo in a way that felt good for me and would resonate with my audience and be clear. I did end up purchasing some vector images that I really loved that came up in my Facebook feed, perfectly targeted ads for me from Creative Market. And I incorporated these into the iconography of the rebrand and added my colors to them. There were some icons that I wanted that didn't exist here, and that is where my friend Midjourney came in. For example, I wanted this baseball cap. I was able to upload a few of the vectors that I had colorized and made fit my brand and create this baseball cap just by asking for an icon of a baseball cap and using those images as style references. I also used Midjourney to create photos and stock imagery for the sales page and my marketing materials that I am obsessed with. Here are some of the early phases of ideation in Midjourney in creating that logo and ideas for it. And then as I would find something that I liked, for example, this, I would build on that idea and keep going. I loved this idea of this tint, and it ended up being the inspiration and back-end recraft for another image, but didn't make it to the final cut of what I used in my brand. Here you can see where I even pulled recraft ideas into Midjourney and got more creations. It's really just like building this world around the brand. I wanted this summer camp vibe, base camp, Wes Anderson vibes with my brand colors, and just kept playing with that. This image ended up being one of my favorites, and it came from that illustration. I used it as a style reference for further ideas to create more imagery. And then I pulled a lot of these photos into Photoshop to really perfect the colors and make sure they were on brand for me, because the pinks were a little too pink or too vibrant and didn't really match. So pulled them into Photoshop and used those tools to really fine tune it. Finally, I used ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity to help me with every part of writing copy, from ad copy to emails to social media posts and even my sales page. I was able to upload my previous sales page to both ChatGPT and Gemini and get feedback on it, have it help me recraft that message to fit the new branding. And then those chats remembered all of the details about the program and the rebrand as well, so I could continue to create content based on all of that information. I do want to show you Perplexity real quick. Perplexity is a tool that I use to get statistics, facts, quotes, and direct sources for things that I then pulled into Gemini and ChatGPT to give more information and statistical accurate information that ChatGPT and sometimes even Gemini can fabricate a little bit. I'm a big time reader of business books, and while I come away from them with big takeaways, having to recall everything that you want to reteach can be a struggle. So I used Perplexity as another way to recall those details and help me find a way that I could teach them to others. I loved having AI available to me to help throughout this process, and I help my students use AI in their rebrands and messaging. The final result was something that I don't think would have happened without the help of AI, or at least in the amount of time that it happened in. If you're ready to craft your brand message and build a website that sells, you can find the details for Brand Basecamp below.